A new crisis is erupting in the Horn of Africa. Ethiopia is no longer hinting. It is demanding a return to the Red Sea, calling access a matter of national survival. Eritrea warns that any move is a red line. Two nations once briefly aligned now edge toward a confrontation neither can afford. Rising tensions in the Horn of Africa have triggered growing international concern as Ethiopia and Eritrea enter one of the most confrontational phases of their relations in years. According to a BBC report, Ethiopia's leadership has intensified public demands for sovereign access to the Red Sea, arguing that the issue is fundamental to the country's national survival. Eritrea, which has a 1,350-kilometre coastline along the Red Sea, officially gained independence in 1993 after decades of conflict. This left Ethiopia landlocked, a development that Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has repeatedly described as untenable. In September 2024, Abiy declared, "Ethiopia's mistake of losing access to the Red Sea as a result of Eritrea's secession would be corrected tomorrow." The Ethiopian military leadership has echoed the Prime Minister's stance. On 21st September, Army Chief Field Marshal Birhanu Jula told troops they would be ready to fight any state obstructing Ethiopia's access to maritime trade routes, a statement widely understood as directed at Eritrea. On October 25th, Field Marshal Birhanu further argued that demographics alone justified Ethiopia's position, stating,
"Our population is now 130 million and will grow to 200 million in the next 25 years. How come the interests of 2 million people override those of 200 million people? We will strengthen our defense forces, speed up our development, and secure a sea outlet."
Diplomatic and military officials have reinforced this narrative. In late August 2024, Major General Tessom Gemechu publicly stated,
"Ethiopia's ownership of Assab port has become our survival interest, worth paying any price for."
According to the BBC report, other senior military figures have presented the issue as a national-level priority. General Desta Abchi told senior officers that the army was toiling day in and day out towards securing Red Sea access. Civilian leadership has also amplified the sense of urgency. On November 3rd, Ethiopia's ambassador to Kenya, retired General Basha Debele, told the pro-government channel Addis Paradigm,
Assab was Ethiopia's wealth and would be returned by force. The question now is not whether Assab is ours or not, but how do we get it back?
The military has showcased growing preparedness. BBC report notes that the Ethiopian state television has broadcast graduation ceremonies of thousands of new cadets. Lieutenant General Hachalu Shelame, the Defence Force's head of human resources, said in a recently televised interview,
"The army was in a reliable position. As tens of thousands of youths were joining it, it was a message to our enemies."
On 20th of September, President Tay Atske Selassie promoted 66 senior officers, describing Ethiopia's posture as elaborate. Newly acquired artillery, tanks and armoured vehicles have also been paraded publicly, all part of signalling Ethiopia's readiness to enforce its claims. While Ethiopia's rhetoric has grown more assertive, Eritrea's government has responded with sharper but less frequent warnings. Eritrean information. Minister Yemene Gebremeskel, reacting on X in mid-September 2024, criticised the Ethiopian leadership for shifting narratives, saying,
Potemkin Party's declared war manifesto seems to be morphing, through constant packaging and repackaging, into the aggrieved party mode these days. Indeed, the incessant and toxic mantra on acquiring sovereign access to the sea by force if necessary, the imperative to project naval power in the Red Sea, the revisionist and blasphemous pronouncements on Eritrea's independence, etc. That the war-mongering PP has been floating for the last 2 years has been temporarily turned on mute mode in the past few weeks.
On 16 September 2024, Eritrea's Information Ministry issued a formal warning that attempts by Ethiopia to legitimize what it described as flagrant aggression would have serious consequences for Ethiopia and its neighbours, calling the issue a red line that should not be crossed. As per the BBC report, an even more direct warning followed on November 13th, when the Eritrean military issued an official statement saying,
Ethiopian leaders should refrain from plunging the Ethiopian people into a quagmire. The fate of anyone crossing the red line is plunging into an abyss from which they will never have a second chance to learn.
Despite this rhetoric, BBC reports note no major troop movements along the border. However, Eritrea's long-standing mandatory military service means the country maintains a substantial reserve force. Pro-opposition Asina TV reported on 15th October that the government had ordered soldiers to remain in designated positions, seen as heightened readiness. As diplomatic tensions escalate, media in both nations have taken on a central role in shaping public opinion and mobilising political sentiment. In Ethiopia, state media have aggressively promoted the view that the country's loss of maritime access was unjust and must now be reversed. BBC report states that Ethiopian state broadcaster ETV begins news bulletins with commentary on the issue, arguing the need to regain Red Sea access. ETV broadcasts have shown demonstrators and graduating troops carrying banners reading, "From the dam to the sea, Assab is ours, and Assab is Ethiopia's." Digital mobilisation has also expanded. US-based Ethiopian media services reported on earlier, in December 30th, that
the Ethiopian government is using a digital army of 60,000 individuals to defend it against criticism and spread its messages.
in Eritrea, state media have pushed back firmly. Eritrean TV issued an editorial on 11th October 2024, accusing the Ethiopian government of attempting to incite a conflict between the two countries by reviving an issue legally settled once and for all. On November 1st, the Eritrean Information Ministry editorial board stated that Eritrea should not be blamed for Ethiopia's internal problems. The rhetoric has also influenced diaspora media. UK-based Asina TV, usually hostile to Eritrea's government, has urged dissidents to close ranks and defend national sovereignty. Paris-based Radio Arena condemned in March 2024 what it called Ethiopia's provocative statements.